Test, test. All right, so we're going to wait a couple minutes so we can get a few people into to the room here. I didn't make an announcement or anything. This is kind of off the fly. I just felt like drawing this morning, kind of on a little mini personal sabbatical vacation type thing. And where's my YouTube? There it is. Okay. What? No. Okay. Sign in. That's weird. Okay. That's weird. It signed me out of YouTube. Okay. Let's see. 3. Okay. All right. Still trying to get things sorted out here. Sorry for the pause. But, you know, technology. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to see if I am streaming. Let's see my channel. Yes, awesome. Okay. Yes, awesome. Okay. All right. 2 watching. Okay. Awesome. So 2 people. So let's get started. 2 people's enough. So I won't be able to answer your questions because, of course, I'll be drawing. But here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to be working in Photoshop today. All right, video capture. Let's go ahead and shrink my face down if I can get this to work here. There we go. Nice and small. Okay. All right. Working on the Z-Book today. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. All right. So it's been a hot minute since I've done any streaming stuff. For those of you who use Photoshop, you're very familiar with the interface, so I went ahead and created a document. So we're at 15 by 20 at 300 dpi, and I like using a gray background. It kind of gives me a mid-tone to be able to illustrate from. You know, working on stark white background too kind of hurts my eyes. I got sensitive eyes, so all right. So gonna do a fun cowboy character today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rough out the basic gesture of him really quick. Hope everybody's doing well in this different age and time that we're living in. I'm doing okay. Trying to get some more work. Kind guys follow along, I've been a freelancer now for quite a while, and I've always had quite a bit of work, sometimes too much work. But what inadvertently happens every once in a while, there are cycles. I'm kind of in that cycle right now of less work. So I've been taking advantage of my time off, spending it with my kids, doing some home projects, and just generally trying to enjoy life a little bit more, even in the midst of all the stuff that's been going on. All right, so roughing out, let's go ahead, we're back a little bit too far. Roughing out the, whatever. Roughing out the base gesture can take as long as you want. You know, I like the sketch process. It's probably my favorite process. And if you guys are asking questions, I can't see the questions you're asking, so my apologies right now. I'll have to kind of switch over here in just a minute. I've only got two monitors, and my other monitor is my reference, so I don't really have the ability to kind of look at your questions just yet. I'm sitting in my chair up in my office, drawing this character. Anyway, so I've been just basically kind of spending time with my family, and which is a good thing, you know. I think we all get a little caught up in our own lives sometimes, and we forget why we do things. So today, I'm kind of taking a day off. Whoops, that's down a little too low. But I did want to get my sketch due in this morning. All right. I've been working on a project now for a couple of years, in and amongst all my projects that I work on. Professionally speaking, I do a lot of toys for theme parks and retail, and I never get to show anything. I made the mistake of showing one of the finished pieces, which I don't quite understand how that works. You know, not even allowed to show finished pieces that I've done. But anyway, I made the mistake, and they found out about it, and you know, I don't quite understand how that works. But I signed an NDA. Actually, the client I work for signed an NDA. I didn't sign anything. So, but I did sign a client work agreement with the person that I do work for. And kind of got in trouble for that recently. Only because I'm really excited, you know, showing stuff I've done, showing that, you know, I have the capability to do that, and also to drum up new work. But what I'm basically trying to say is, got in trouble. And sometimes you just gotta grin and bear it. So I'm trying to talk here and kind of keep my mind off of the intricacies of what I'm doing. And also I'm putting off going to the head. Generally, I usually start with the head. But I didn't do that this time, so it's probably going to bite me in the bum. You guys know that I love doing birds. The simplicity of their design really lends itself to my style. I like doing animals in general. Animal characters are my fave. It's my jam. I'm using a specific brush here. It's called the Sample Brush 42. It's a free brush. You guys know that I follow Aaron Blaze. Aaron is actually doing a live stream right now as well. And whenever you signed up for his newsletter, so let's do this. Let's give him some attitude. Shoop. You get this brush for free. And he's really pushing a lot of his courses right now because that's how he makes his money. I'm sure he makes money in other ways, but that's how he generally seems to make most of his money. I like the tilt of his head, so I'm going to, whoops. All right, so let's tilt his head just a little bit back, mash that down, and we'll continue on. I had some people ask me, what kind of work do you do? I'm a illustrator by profession, but also a graphic designer by necessity. And what does that mean, basically? Well, it kind of means that I don't have a degree in graphic design, but just by the nature of what I do and what I've done in my career, I've done a lot of graphic design, from brochures to package design to logo design to um, t-shirt spec work and spec packaging and tech packs and graphics, motion graphics, some animation here and there, simple animation. I've done traditional 2D animation. Um, and very early in my career, I did 3D animation, some 3D work. And then, of course, as your career progresses, you find ways to do certain things. And so that's where the whole thing of graphic design comes in. I've done a lot of graphic design. And I don't necessarily, it's not that I don't like graphic design. I do. And I love good design. I love good package design. I love industrial design. And I kind of treat everything the same in a way. I treat it all as art. And because I noticed, especially recently, I don't know if you guys noticed this, because now I'm starting to look for work. And, whenever you look at some of the descriptives that some of these places of what they want in a candidate, it's quite interesting, to say the least. They want 5 people in one. And you're like, what used to be an entire department, they wanted one person, they only want to pay like 30 grand for it. Yeah, we want a computer animator that knows Maya, ZBrush, Blender, Mudbox, and Keyshot. And then we want them to know, of course, the entire Adobe Creative Suite. We want them to have 25 or 5 years of game experience, and we only want to pay them 30 grand. And you're like, oh, 30 grand's nice. Well, not really. 30 grand doesn't really get you far in this world anymore. And back in the day, whenever I first started this game, my first starting salary was like 28.5. Whenever I worked for Foot Locker Incorporated, back there it was called Venator Group, and I worked for them for a couple of years. And my ending salary, whenever I left there, I believe was 33. Then I worked for a company based out of Orlando. This is like 2002, 2003. And they ended up, my starting salary was like 34, 35. And then I left them and went for another company making like 22. No. Making roughly the same amount of money, but I just, and then of course, things happen whenever you're an artist. Let's have his eye go over here. Oop. It's a chicken. I guess he's a chicken. Is he a chicken? Sort of. And, then I freelanced for a while and then ended up making decent money whenever I worked for an ad agency or an agency in Orlando. and my ending salary there was considerably higher. And then, of course, whenever you freelance, you don't really have a cap on your salary. You just work yourself to death, right? You work yourself to death until you can get as much money as you can. You guys notice, you see, I'll put this down, and you see how my cursor will tilt, and I'll move it. I've got tilt on. This particular tablet supports tilt. Some of your tablets do support tilt. Some of them don't. I think that it's a great luxury to have tilt. I don't use it as much as I should. I use it a lot on my iPad Pro, which I love. My apologies if you're asking questions. I can't not answer questions right now. I'm drawing. I don't have the capability, like I'd said before, to have multiple screens up. So, okay. So let's go ahead and shrink him down a little bit. I need to adjust the gestures slightly. Let's go ahead and have them here because he's kind of. I'm going to do his feet. Really rough his feet out. Okay, so here, that leg going in a little bit because I want weight to be put. 1, 2, 3. Remember growing up, there was a character in the Warner Brothers universe that I always liked, Foghorn Leghorn. He was always so strong. His animation was really good. Okay, we're going to put him up just a little bit. This isn't going to be a Foghorn Leghorn character, but he is going to be something like it. And I can see whenever I'm drawing him, I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but whenever I'm drawing, and especially if I'm drawing like an animal character, and I'm trying to flesh out, the nuances and whatnot, I'll have a voice, a running voice of what he sounds like in my head. Whoops. Oh, I got somebody probably commenting. Yeah, let's see what they said. Notification YouTube. Nope. All right. And I have a running voice in my head of what maybe the character sounds like. And in development, it helps me a lot whenever I'm doing the character and character designs. Now, this particular character design is just having fun. If I got that leg's wrong. That leg is wrong. So let's go ahead and cut that out. Copy, paste, transform. Let's go ahead and have that down to right there. Okay, good. If I had a creative brief and I had certain, or, maybe they've already decided on the voice, based on initial concept sketches. Now, if I'm the concept artist and I'm doing stuff like this, you'll have a descriptive of the character, you'll have the parameters, and of course, whenever you design stuff for animation or if you design stuff for games, there's always going to be that kind of flex as you develop the character. Initially it might have been one thing, but then as you develop it and as your ideas get, organic, then the ideas start flowing and things might change as you go forward, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and have him down just a little bit. I want to have a little kind of a beard. What do you think? I don't know. I'm just having fun, right? Let's go ahead and have that mouth come up a little bit further. All right, and he's got that beard that comes down. Here's the mouth crease that comes up and around. Okay. Gonna have the other half of that mouth. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm gonna shrink him up just a little bit. I'm fixing to go down. I'm gonna do the the next stage, him here in a second, which is the revision stage. So in this instance, since I've only been drawing, what, about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes? Let's give him a hat. Real loose, right? Okay, so it comes up, down. Maybe the gravity's affecting it in such a way. Here's where it actually goes on his head. Right, so now we're going to do the brim. Brim comes up, around, and don't be afraid to draw through, since this is still your initial sketch. And I'm in kind of an awkward position, so if some of my forms and my shapes seem a little wonky, it's because I'm fighting against, I got my elbow here on the chair. I'm giving you an excuse because of the, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so don't be afraid to draw through stuff, right? Okay. It's kind of wily. Have that come down just a little bit further, right? Maybe it goes right over his eyebrows. And here's the brim, the hat. Okay, comes around, around. Nice. All right. Okay. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm just going to go back. I'm going to reestablish some of these things and forms and stuff where I think they should be. And I keep zooming out because I want to get the overall picture of him, of how he feels. So let's give him a little ground plane, right? But he's got something right here. He's got a couple little doohickeys, right? Okay. See, right now, I'm not really concerned with his environment. You know, maybe I'll give him, maybe something like that, or maybe we'll come up here and do this. Maybe he's in a gully, and then here's the mountains in the background, and here's some cloud, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's not bad. So now I start thinking of, I'm still trying to flesh out exactly what I want this guy to do, what I want him to be, right? And now I start thinking of silhouette. So I'm looking at him, and let's say, because silhouette's very important. Let's go ahead and push this back a little bit. Okay, so let's sample that. Okay, so let's color this in here. Hold on. Let's make it really fast. La 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 la. Okay. Edit. Fill. Foreground color. Okay. So if I were to take away the lines and I go off in a distance, he's kind of hard to read. So I need to think, how can I make him a better character? Because the lines, even though I like the way he's sitting, I'm looking at his silhouette and I'm not feeling it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the silhouette. Believe it or not, a lot of people do start with silhouette, and I've done that before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push this back. And I'm going to use that as a base to go ahead and correct silhouette. Where you're like, well, how the heck do you do that? Well, let's think of it. So he's out in the desert. He's kind of chilling. He's like giving attitude. How could I make his silhouette stronger? Right? So I can come here. Whoops, we're on the right layer. So let's go back to black. back to black, baby. So maybe he's like, I invented the question mark. You're like, no, you didn't. It's got these feathers that come down like that. Right? He's got his vest. It comes out. It's kind of blowing in the breeze. He's got he's got action going on. Of course, his scarf's going to come down like this because it's up a little bit more because his arm is going up that way, right? So I do like that a little bit better. So now this needs to, since this is going up right here, I need to have this come up. All right, have that come here, here, here. All right, here's his vest again. Comes around like this. Okay. Arm comes up, around. You see how messy this is? And I'm not really worried right now about any of the messiness. I'm just trying to get the feel of it. So yeah, see, that's a little bit better. See, the difference between this and this, both have validity in the character design. Both are something that he would probably do. But for this simple illustration, see, I might even have that come like that because he's like, feel exactly what he's trying to do here. Okay. Now, since he's got a declaration, he's got to have his mouth open. So he's like, so if I had a mirror, which I got one on my desk, I'll typically sit there and I'll look at myself and I'll try and, like, I'll have an emotion in my belly or emotion in my heart, and I'll try to do the instant. It's like an instant feel. And I'll look at myself and see exactly how it reads and how clear it is. So let's say his comes up, around. So let's think. Goes. So it goes up. Maybe these are a little bit higher, right? This one goes up even higher like that. Here. There we go. Two, I have to, whenever you're just doing the mouth, you see how this particular edge right here comes up and it comes to the corner of his mouth? Because here's the real corner of his mouth. You have this whole squashed, this whole element right here. It comes up. So I'm going to draw it from the side, right? Even though I can't see where the corner of his mouth goes in, I know it's there. So I'm going to have here, I'm going to have his whiskers come out like this because I don't want to mess up this area because this area really is a clear read. I don't want to mess up this area with a huge, well, I can do this. He's got his beard. And I'll have that come in. Here's that. And then I'll have this fur come right there, his little beard. Right? Let's go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. Okay. Got my keyboard over here to the left-hand side of me. Let's go ahead and make his eyes a little bit bigger, kind of an oval. There we go. And there too, since he's like, that eyebrow comes up, we have that top of the eyes come up and they're stretched. Right? So we're going to have a little bit of hair come out here, kind of gruffily. There we go. Heh. Okay, so the difference between this and this, it's a completely different emotion. And of course, as I'm going through this and I'm determining what I want to do, okay, that's going to be back a little bit further too. So let's go ahead and erase this. So his head is tilted back a little bit, but I want this to come up and around because I want gravity to be affecting, because the top of his hat has weight and mass to it. So, whenever he flips it to the back here, good, good, good. Okay, so now I'm going to have this come around to the edge of his hat. He's got some scrag coming around here, and these two little lines. And even though this is a rough sketch, you can really get a feel of his gesture and his character and kind of who he is. Already, since you see how he's designed, I want him to be kind of a clumsy, sheriff type character, right? That's good. So let's go ahead and flesh out. Whoops. This comes around. This comes out. Comes in. Okay. Comes here. Got that finger. All right. I'll have this come up. Have it come around. All right. That finger's too long. This one's too long. Now look at this. Now look at this. Yeah, that's too long. Go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and make that bigger. Can. Okay. Erase. All right. Okay. So what's really cool, whenever you're doing stuff like this, is you start to learn the dynamics of poses and how things work and how things look. Let's go ahead. I like his do a belt buckle. So let's go ahead and do a circle. Okay. Oops. Keep things simple. Whoops. Okay. Good. He's got his leg that comes out, comes in. Right. He got his pants that come here. Around. You got that straight line right here. It's important that you have certain, whenever it comes to pose, like pose cues, that really define and solidify the pose. That's one of them right there. So let's go ahead. This is going to be another one right here. Here. All right. Okay. I want his pants to come out or under. Kind of like rolled up just slightly. He's got this. Because here's his leg right here. It comes here. It's going to come right there. Come down. Over. Okay. And here's that. It's like a cuff because he rolled his pants up just slightly. Here. Comes up, down. Good. And you don't want to sit there and noodle because you can't see everything. You want to, if I was working on my other computer, I would have this particular area on a screen in front of me, and I would sit there and I would keep referencing that particular image as I kept drawing, right? A little bit of bulge right there. That's good. Again, we're still in the rough process, still defining, still finding, where stuff is. Okay. So the voice, I've used him before. I've got a really fun story it's called Behind the Whiskers. And it's a story of basically animals and the lives they lead in and amongst themselves. Um, and there's multiple characters. I mean, I've got Pondwater Slim, because originally I had done The Legend of Blackwood Oak. That's another one of my stories that had Pondwater Slim as the sheriff. And he talks just like this. He's got a little whistle. And I developed that whole storyline. And as I got through it, and I'm looking at it, keep getting a phone call. I don't want you messing up my video. Going through and figuring out these characters, and then of course what we call life kind of gets in the way, and I end up going and having another idea, and then that particular, like Blackwood Oak, has sat on the shelf for years, and I'm always like, yeah, I'll get back to it. And then I end up getting another idea, like the Behind the Whiskers, with the dogs and cats and different other different types of animals and such. And sometimes it's just, yeah, I like that. So have his shirt kind of come here, got his belt here. Maybe there's a cow head or something. Stick in here. Right, I don't know. Again, we're in the rough stage, so just doing a really quick warm up this morning. These guys' buttons come around like this, right? Kind of folded here, here, here. It kind of folds over. Yeah, I think he's turning out pretty good. So we'll go ahead and define his eyebrows a little bit more. All right. Comes here. Good. I invented the question mark. No, you didn't. Just settle down. Golly. Okay. Go ahead and put a value in here. For those of you who use Photoshop a lot, right now you can look up at the top panel. Let's go. Oh, I think I've saved this. Oh my gosh. What is this, Russia? Okay, so bird on C1. Okay. Save this to here. Okay. Photoshop, bird font, save. Good. So let's go ahead and mash that down. What I'll do now is I'll put a layer under it. I'll get rid of the, there we go. And just start really putting in a little bit of value, having a little bit of fun with it. Right? Okay. What I'll do So I'll probably make another video. And I will, come on, baby. Ugh. Inadvertently, what happens with PCs, and I'm sure you guys know, is the PC will start doing things in the background. And that's exactly what happened here. So you're seeing it chew and chew and chew. And even though this is a really fast computer, it really doesn't matter because like Windows Defender will take 90% or 100% of your system resources and it'll start doing things in the background. Now you want Windows Defender because it's a PC and you don't want to get a virus, but um, unfortunately, it will steal your resources. And I'm sure you can turn all that crap off. And I'm sure that there's settings and people are going to be like, just turn it off, bro. And, you know, I don't really know how to do that. I'm a Mac guy. And I've been a Mac guy for a long time. And Macs really don't have that issue. To be honest with you. It really sucks that Apple hasn't really stepped into the new age of making touch laptops. You know, I have no problem with using an iPad Pro for pro work, which I do. But I use my PC, this particular PC in general, whenever I travel, because I can run pro level apps on it, you know, like Photoshop and Illustrator and Maya and ZBrush and you know, whatever else I need. And you can't do that with an iPad. You can run Procreate. Oh yeah, Procreate. And I love Procreate. I use it all the time. Nothing wrong with it. But it's not Photoshop, and it's not, you know, some of the other top level programs. Can you do pro level stuff in it? Yeah. But, you know, like I said before, it's just, to me, the iPad right now, until it, you know, gets its big boy britches, is probably a companion device, you know. And I'm sure so a lot of people use it for pro work, but, you know, for me, it's not quite there. It'll get there, I'm sure, eventually. Um, but this is kind of where I am right now as far as today's stream. I just wanted to do a really quick character illustration. So let's go ahead and we'll flatten that, and we'll do a layer and back. We'll do a little bit lighter, right? Just some simple highlights here and there. You know, simple stuff. And eventually what I'll probably do is I'll probably drag this onto my big machine and I'll do a final wrap up for you guys on a different video. So anyway, that was today's stream. Something easy, something fun, something simple. Hopefully you guys are drawing something and enjoying your day. I know there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the news, but we're not going to talk about that because that's not what this channel's about. So be safe. Have an awesome day. This is today's fun. Woohoo! Let's save it. F. And I think that'll be it. All right. Oops. All right, you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.